This is Mac OS Ken.
An upgrade and a higher target for Apple shares, news on Apple hardware support, and kinda sorta stealing from the Apple Store. Kinda. It is Thursday, the 27th of June, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years with special offers for Mac OS Ken listeners at penchalet.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Since WWDC, it seems, if it's a day that ends in Y, it is time for a higher Apple price target. Apple 3.0 highlights a Street Insider piece that has Rosenblatt analyst Barton Crockett doling one out, actually a higher target and an upgrade on Apple shares. It's not just Apple Intelligence this time. Rather, it's Apple's focus on privacy as it moves consumers towards AI or vice versa. In a survey with over 500 respondents, Crockett and Company found privacy to be the thing with which consumers were most concerned when it comes to AI. That was followed by insight, according to the analyst. Of course, they had Crockett at privacy. Quoting his note, "Strong privacy is by far the top feature consumers want in AI based on our recent U.S. survey, arguing for market share lift potential for Apple in AI based on the unique privacy focus of Apple Intelligence, to date unmatched by Android. Given that Apple has uniquely flagged private cloud compute as core to its approach, the analyst argues that Apple appears positioned to gain brand interest and AI market share from its out-of-the-gate focus on strong privacy." From an LLM business side, Crockett is also turned on that Apple can reap the benefits of the millions or billions being invested in large language models, offering those services while protecting user privacy without needing an LLM of its own. So Apple can have its cake, healthy margins, and eat it too, writes the analyst, by using integration via private cloud compute with third parties to offer the benefits of those companies' massive investments. With that, Crockett raised Rosenblatt's rating on Apple shares from neutral to buy. He also upped his firm's price target on the shares from $196 to $260. Big day of info for Apple hardware support on Wednesday, mostly tied to iPhone. First, a piece from Engadget says Apple is opening access to its Diagnostics for self-service repair tool to users in the UK and Europe. According to the company, the tool gives users the same ability as Apple-authorized service providers and independent repair providers to test products for optimal parts functionality and performance. With it, Engadget says users can scan a target iPhone, Mac, and or Studio display for issues with a display, camera, Face ID, software integration, and audio output to see which parts may need repair. Well, with the diagnostics tool and another Apple device. Currently, the piece says both devices need to be running iOS 17 or later, or macOS Sonoma 14.1 or later, but not much later. Betas for upcoming operating systems will not work with the diagnostics tool, according to the report. More info is available on Apple's site. In addition to the new tool access, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac had Apple unfurling a lot of stats on product longevity on Wednesday. In a white paper posted to its site, the Cupertino company let fly with a lot of iPhone reliability info, noting marked improvements over the past several years. Running through a few of those, overall iPhone repairs for accidental damage have dropped by 44% since improved enclosures were added to the iPhone 7 line. Repairs for liquid damage have dropped 75% since improvements tied to the iPhone 7 line. From 2015 to 2022, the piece says out-of-warranty repair rates were down by 38%. Back glass repair introduced in the iPhone 15 line has lowered the customer cost of repair by more than 60%. There are hundreds of millions of working iPhones that have been in use for 5 years or more. An iPhone retains at least 40% more of its value compared to Android smartphones, according to the report, with the valuation difference increasing for even older models of iPhone. But wait, there's more. A piece from Mac Rumors on the same white paper had Apple touting improvements coming for third-party displays and third-party batteries later this year. The company plans to add a True Tone option for non-Apple displays and battery health metrics for third-party iPhone batteries later in 2024. Finally, back to 9to5 Mac for Apple's defense of parts pairing. According to the company, parts pairing is the practice of using software to identify components' parts through a unique identifier. Apple says it uses parts pairing to make access to repair easier and more transparent to customers, while also ensuring that every device and the data stored on it remains secure and performs optimally. It is not to pressure consumers to go to Apple for their repairs. It seems unlikely that that will placate people and organizations against parts pairing. Still, that is the defense Apple offers. The frustrating thing about firmware updates for AirPods is that there is very little one can do about them, even seemingly important ones. A number of sites ran reports Tuesday saying that every current model of AirPods, from the second gen through the AirPods Max, had firmware updates available. Of course, users can't prompt those, so kinda who cares? Especially because the initial release note said that the update included bug fixes and other improvements. Now a piece from my download blog says there is a reason to care. Apparently among those other improvements is a security fix. According to an Apple post on that, when your headphones are seeking a connection request to one of your previously paired devices, an attacker in Bluetooth range might be able to spoof the intended source device and gain access to your headphones. So you will want to get that update, except for the part where you can't make it happen. Instead, says the iDownload blog piece, firmware updates are things that happen automatically whenever the following criteria are met. AirPods are connected to power and charging. AirPods are in Bluetooth range of your iPhone, iPad, or Mac. And your iPhone, iPad, or Mac is in range of and connected to a Wi-Fi network with internet access. Yeah, okay, I know. Generally speaking, those things happen anyway. Still kind of grating that you can't just prompt an update. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years. Where are you on your fountain pen journey? Have you started playing with various nib sizes? Are you branching into new types of ink? Maybe you have yet to hold your first one. Wherever you are, penchalet.com/macOSKen is a great place to go. If you're starting or restarting, there are the starter boxes. I worked with Pen Chalet to set those up, so you would have a perfect pen, paper, and ink combo to get you going. Now, they do have a range of pens, from the very affordable to the priced like a family heirloom. Maybe you're ready to dip your nib in a new kind or color of ink. Maybe you're looking for a case, a pen rest, an inkwell, or some other accessory. Pen Chalet has some of all of that, and you can save a bit on it. Use code MOK10 for 10% off purchases besides the starter boxes. If you're still intimidated by fountain pens, I really don't think you need to be, but if you are, Pen Chalet has beautiful rollerball and ballpoint pens as well. Elevate your writing experience and find the pen for you at thepenchalet.com/macOSKen. Check out the discounted starter boxes or use code MOK10 for 10% off purchases besides the starter boxes. See what is waiting at penchalet.com/macOSKen. And a big thanks to Pen Chalet for sponsoring today's show. Something seems to have gone haywire for Apple Pay in Hungary. Mac Rumors ran a piece midday Wednesday, citing reports from several Hungarian news sites that had users seeing unexpected charges without making purchases. The banks say the issue was on Apple's side. The piece had one bank's website posting the message, "We inform our customers that due to a technical problem with an external partner, the bank cards of some of our customers may have been incorrectly charged by the Apple App Store. Our colleagues have contacted Apple officials. The problem is being resolved." Whatever it is, it sounds pretty messed up. Mac Rumor says the impacted users are being charged small amounts several times in a row. One user saw almost $1,500 US pulled from his account across 74 rapid-fire transactions. The piece goes on to say some of the charges appear to be linked to subscriptions that were canceled previously, and some of the amounts match prior transactions. So far, Apple seems to have offered no comment on the issue. So there's this story that I feel weird about doing, but I would feel weird about not doing it too. On the one hand, I don't want to encourage bad behavior. At the same time, I don't want to ruin it for people who are benefiting from the bad behavior. Let's do this first. If every Apple store left a bowl of $100 bills on a table, they didn't say you could have one, but they didn't do anything about stopping you from taking one, is that stealing? iMore has written up a way that people are taking Apple software from Apple stores, and apparently have been for years. A user on Twitter posted over the weekend, "Man has found a way to get official versions of paid apps for Mac for free without paying hundreds of dollars for them. He simply came to the Apple Store with his Mac and transferred application files from exhibition models via AirDrop." So that person blew it for everybody, right? Well, actually, iMore found a post on Reddit from 5 months ago that had another person saying that they tried it by airdropping Final Cut, Logic Pro, Compressor, and Motion to their iPhone and airdropping it to their Mac at home. It does work, they said. Why does it work? Another post on Reddit explained, Apple applications are self-contained in a .app archive. All of the relevant files, libraries, etc. are stored in that archive in most cases. Simply moving that .app from one computer to another installs that application on the new computer. There are a couple of problems, though. First, you can't update the apps. Trying to do so throws an error, according to iMore. And second, it's stealing? Maybe? And yet talk of it is out there, and has been, publicly, for a while. The iMore piece says the Reddit post from 5 months ago refers back to a year-old post in the same space, while other signs point to this being a practice since as early as 2017. I don't know that it's a good practice, but it's a great story. And finally today, there are a couple of pieces of Apple history and a few pieces of Steve Jobs history up for auction. Another piece from iMore says a suit worn by the Apple co-founder in a 1984 photo shoot promoting the Mac has gone up for bids. According to Julian's Auctions, the suit features thin vertical stripes throughout, with 2 front pockets, 1 breast pocket, 3 interior pockets, gray buttons, and a cream silk blend lining. It also includes a vintage Apple Macintosh pin found in the pocket. While it can be had, it cannot be had for cheap. At a current bid of $10,000, the reserve price has yet to be met. Auctioneers expect it to go for between $20,000 and $30,000. But wait, there's more up for auction, including another suit Jobs was photographed wearing to a friend's retirement party in 1980, 3 neckties, one of which was worn by Jobs in a 1977 Apple II promo photo, 1 bow tie, and an SPJ monogrammed leather garment bag. There's also a Lisa Macintosh XL with accompanying software, though this unit seems to have no direct tie to Jobs himself, and it doesn't turn on. Personally, I'm more turned on by the Howard Hughes stuff up for bid in the same Spotlight History and Technology auction. It's probably because I've done years of Steve Jobs memorabilia stories and not one to this point about Howard Hughes. If you buy anything, let me know. The auction closes on Thursday, the 11th of July, at high noon Pacific. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by Pen Chalet, selling exquisite fountain pens for over 10 years, with special offers for macOS Ken listeners at penchalet.com/macOS Ken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOS Ken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
The way of the future.